So we are very, very happy and always thrilled when we get to partner with Sister Cities. And Brady Searles is the person that began this partnership with the library, and so we really appreciate that. And he is the president of Sister Cities of Durham. He's a retired professor from the Virginia Community College system, where he taught history and directed international study tours. He lived in England for a year doing research on a Fulbright and was a Fulbright exchange teacher in Norway. He wrote and directed a 4-year U.S. State Department grant for exchange of faculty in 2 Russian universities. Welcome with me, Brady Searles.
Thank you, Joanne. On behalf of Sister Cities of Durham, let me say welcome. We're certainly glad to have you here. We especially welcome some of our Rotary friends who've made a special effort to come join us tonight also. And we have really enjoyed the partnership with the library and with our humanities program. As you know from the brochure, if you're not signed up, I'll give a plug also, Joanne. Do sign up at the back table before you leave, and you'll make sure you get the information when that comes out. Sister Cities, as hopefully you know, there's some brochures in the back. In addition to our focus on Arusha, Tanzania tonight, we also have partners at Sister Cities in Durham, England, in Kostroma, Russia, in Toyama, Japan, and now 2 cities in China, Zhuzhou and Kunshan. And this year we're celebrating our 40th anniversary of Sister Cities, going back to 1975. So it's exciting to think in terms of what has taken place over those years. Lots of good activities, lots of interesting programs. What is particularly unique, I think, in the last few years for Sister Cities is developing some educational partnerships. This past spring, we had student visitors from both Toyama, Japan, and Zhuzhou, China. This fall, we have a group of students going from the School for Creative Studies who are going to visit with their partner school in Zhuzhou, China. This spring and summer, we anticipate students from Durham going to some of the other sister cities, including Toyama and Durham, England. And what's particularly exciting, you think in terms of the focus and the nice program, some students going to Arusha, Tanzania also. So it's exciting to think in terms of what takes place there. And we appreciate your support and your involvement, and your being here tonight to hear about an exciting program. The Arusha Committee consists of some volunteers who have extensive experience in travel internationally. They bring a global perspective both to this committee and to the city of Durham. And we're excited that they're here tonight to present to you. And now for the co-chair of the Arusha City Committee, Rhonda Pierce. Rhonda?
Good evening, and thank you, everyone, for coming. I want to start you out with just an introduction of what the Arusha Committee has been doing in the past, I would say since 2012. Okay. So our background, oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Can everyone hear me now? Okay, thank you. Okay, so we started out in 2012 with a cyber exchange program between Riverside High School and the Arusha St. Joseph's Secondary School for the high school students in Arusha, Tanzania. And just the pictures down there at the bottom are just depicting, actually on the left, one of the teachers that had a biology class, and it was actually very interesting. It was English as a second language, and that particular class was able to communicate with the students. As you see on the right, those are some of the students from the Arusha St. Joseph class, and they were actually exchanging what they were doing in biology. My pictures were with the phone, so they weren't that great, but wanted you to have an opportunity to see what type of exchange we had been doing actually since 2012. I want to actually just show you, for those of you that I assume everyone knows, but those of you that are not aware, Tanzania is an East African country, and it's sister to Kenya. And Arusha is right here. It's in the mountains. So this is where people are familiar with the safari, and like the Serengeti or Ngoro Crater, as well as the Kilimanjaro mountains. So that's all within that area there. Okay. So the progression of the relationship actually changed once my husband and I, Tony and Terry Galegua, we went to Arusha to visit the school after 2 years of having the opportunity to talk to the students. It was great to actually meet them. And once we met the students, I asked actually the headmistress, Sister Ndedo, what was one of her greatest needs. And she said, water. And I'm like, oh, that's not quite what I was thinking I would get back. I thought, oh, computers. But when she said water, that was pretty grave, pretty serious. And I asked her, what was the issue? And it turned out that the pipes that they had, and these pictures again, you're going to see more of it shortly, but the pipes that they had running to the campus, and this is about 200 students, 200 girls on campus with staff and the cooks and cleaning crews and everyone that live on this campus. The pipes underground had rusted and they were leaking, so running water could not get to the buildings. So they don't have any running water, and 3 days a week they actually received water in these tanks from the military, from the Tanzanian army. Okay, so some of their tanks are here that they have, and actually you may not can get a good idea, but this is actually where it's leaking. So there's a leak in this tank that's up, right? And the water is actually just on the ground. So, of course, after we took the tour, this really became a burden for us to, what could we possibly do? It was interesting. My husband actually thought, we should talk to the Rotary, because he was aware of the Rotary's water programs in other countries. But it was just like a passing thought. One of the opportunities came about when we got back. We actually met Kevin Primus. He was the president-elect at that time of the E-Rotary Club. They just started an E-Rotary Club here, and he was interested in what we were talking about, our trip to Arusha. And at the time, I think I must have led him to believe we had a water project because he got on the horn with Brady and was like, oh, we want to talk to you about your water project. And I was like, Brady, I did not say we had a water project. But the wonderful thing, it just naturally came about that we had a great opportunity for a collaboration. This picture is showing the students actually collecting water, but they put them in these colorful buckets and they distribute it. They actually bathe from the buckets, if they have to water. They did have gardens at one time, but again, because of the problems, they were no longer able to have gardens. And the gardens were actually used to feed them, so they used them quite extensively. So let's see here. So again, the opportunity came, how would we actually put this project together? And at the time, Sister City started a youth council. And so we thought, working with Margie Harrison, and I should say at the time when I was doing the cyber exchange, Margie Harrison was working with Riverside High School, and she was very integral in getting the teachers to work with us. We had other teachers as well as the biology students, but even dance team had worked with us. So Margie was actually partnering with me on working with the Sister Cities Youth Council and introducing them to the water project. And out of that, we were able to get 6 students. And let me say that the Sister City Youth Council is made up of students across 12 of the Durham Public Schools, high schools, and starting from the 9th grade up to the 12th grade. And we were able to get 6 students across the board. They were coming from Riverside, Southern, City of Medicine, DSA, Jordan, and Durham Tech's high school, the early college. So they became project team members, and then we had project team members on the side of the the St. Joseph students. And basically, we formed opportunity to learn more about water. We learned about what their water not just needs, but what they experience as far as how much waterfall do they get per year. How much, where is their water source? And this gave them the opportunity to actually go do field trips themselves. And so as we learned about water on our side, we were able to share via go-to meetings. And again, the Rotary was part of helping us connect through that. So we did presentations and we were able to see each other. It was actually a better modem than doing it through Skype. So again, in 2014, basically we realized that this was going to be a water project. And the water project focus was going to be on education and repair. So I would like you to see, we had the teacher that works with the students at St. Joseph put together several videos so that you could get an understanding or idea of the problem, the leaking problem that they had. And Kevin was so gracious to put them all together and make a nice YouTube video. Okay, so what they're doing now, these are some of the students there at Rusha, and this is actually a water filtration they were trying to show, but these are pictures of the actual leakage. And so they have these little cisterns or spigots all over the campus, and water's just leaking. It's not, again, their water source is Mount Meru, and it's connected to its water source, but you could see on the bottom what she's saying. Basically, they're opening the water taps from the sink, and it just continues to leak. It's not something they can turn off, and So again, this is some of their bathrooms, some of their shower facilities, and so forth. And again, that's showing you the ground leakage that's constantly there. They had actually experienced contamination in their water, and they had typhoid. And so we talked to them about how they can actually try to do water prevention. And so there's a portable filtration system that they had someone come and demonstrate. So as you can see, this is the problem that they're dealing with, and it's over 200 girls. So it becomes a major issue. So again, the tap is closed, but it's still leaking the water. And so cholera is also another disease. And they're just trying to demonstrate the many areas where the leaking is coming from. And we all know how precious water is, and so to see it just, not able to even contain the water that they have, or and again, this is coming from the teacher that's working with the students. And these are after school students who we're working with. So this is something that they're doing after their courses are done throughout the day. Then they, work with us. And, it's like a after school program. Okay, and that's Cosmos, the teacher that's working with the students that was standing beside him. Okay. So the Arusha Golden Sunrise Rotary and the Downtown Durham Rotary Global Run Water and the Rotary E Club of District 7710, along with Sister Cities, we're all in collaboration with one another to work on this program. Okay, let's just see where we left off. So with all that said, again, this gave the opportunity for the students here and the students in Tanzania to work together, learn how to use technology, go to meetings, hosting, other time zones. So it was a learning experience how to create PowerPoints on each side. The students were required to do PowerPoints. And we were hoping to do fundraisers. Last year we weren't able to get them kicked off, but we're looking to do some this year. So again, our partnerships were with the Arusha Committee, as well as Sister City Youth Council, as well as the Rotary E Club. And the educational program gave us opportunity to have speakers such as the Durham Water Department, conservation program. So the outreach and education department came out and they did demonstrations for us, as well as we went to the Brown treatment plant here in Durham and did a tour of the water department waste management. And we had opportunity for the students there in Tanzania. They had actually Dr. Adasi from A&T Cooperative Extension. He went actually to Arusha. He does work with the Nelson Mandela University there. And he went and actually talked to our students in, at St. Joseph about rainfall harvesting. So that was pretty much our educational component that we had. And here's some pictures of some of the things that we saw and some of the students that came, what they said about what they learned. And then we also went to the Duke Nicholas School of Environment, and we were able to take a tour of that building as well. And again, the water source for St. Joseph is Mount Meru. Okay, so I want to go ahead and bring up some of the students that were participating. We have Georgia Marion, Kyra Pierce, and I can't see if you could bring the lights up if Monica and Ayana are here. Okay, I'll let Georgia come up first and then Kyra. And they're going to just share with you what they learned.
Hi, my name's Georgia Marion. I participated in the water project this past year and a little bit of the year before, I think. But a lot of my experience, so the way it worked was we woke up pretty early in the morning just because of the time difference between here and Arusha. So normally we had to be there at around 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning so we could meet them when they were getting out of school at 3 or 4. And we met up with them on GoToMeeting where we talked about, at first, we talked about what our interests were, just getting to know them. And then we started talking about the project and what their problems were with the water, the rusty pipes, the contamination that was in the water, which we didn't actually talk to them about until a lot later, when they brought it up that there were some health issues with the water, and we asked what they were, and they were like cholera, typhoid, and we were like, wow, that's a really really big problem. I haven't even brought that up earlier. But so we communicated with them to try to come up with ways we could learn more about the issues that they were encountering and how we could help them. And we eventually came up with the Rotary's contribution to helping out the project. And we hope that it's going to go really well and we can help out the girls in Arusha.
Hi, I'm Kyra. Okay. Hello. Okay. I'm Kyra Pierce. I was a part of the water project committee. I wasn't able to do the GoTeam meetings, but what I did was I went on the field trips. We went to the Nicholas School of Environment and on Duke's campus, and we talked to other students who actually went to Africa. I don't remember what country, but who also did another water project for, I think it was a city in Africa. And then we also went down and we learned about where our water came from in Durham, North Carolina. And that was the brown treatment. Those are very interesting to learn about. So yeah, no. That's about it. That's all I have.
Monica? Okay. Well, and again, we really appreciated the opportunity to work with the students on both sides. It really made the program rich for us to work together. Now I want to bring in Margie and give her an opportunity, Margie Harrison, to just speak about how she participated with the program and share her experiences.
I probably learned more than the kids learned. I learned how to fix my toilet if it was leaking, and I learned a lot about where our water comes from, and because I got to go on all the field trips because I'm retired. So when this project started, when we started cooperating with the school, I was working at Riverside and just kind of put it out to the faculty, you know, was anybody interested in doing some kind of exchange? And the dance teacher came to me immediately and she said, yes, I want to. So we sent videos back and forth with the school, and then the biology teachers were real interested in doing it. And so there was it was interesting just to see the kids get to know each other and know their friends or get friends over on the other side of the world, which to me was pretty much what I was interested in, because I was in sister cities. It was person-to-person diplomacy. This is great for kids. It enlarges their world. When Rhonda came up with this idea and found out about the pipes and everything at the school that we'd been talking to, it was like, okay, this is going to be really cool. And you know, Rhonda did a great job of arranging all these different places for us to go, and the kids were wonderful, even at 7 o'clock in the morning. We used to entice them sometimes with food to come and talk to their cohort in the other side of the world. But it has been a really good learning experience, and we hope to enlarge it next year. So we've worked on a companion piece to this with the City of Medicine Academy here in Durham. It's a high school, I don't know if you know about it, but it's a high school that trains students to go into the medical field. And when the students graduate from the City of Medicine Academy, they might have a license to be an EMT, or they might be a practical nurse, or they might be prepared to go on to college and go into pre-med or something like that. So they do a lot of things like that. And so part of what we're doing is, Rhonda will talk about this more in a minute, but we're going to try to take a group of kids, 11th graders who finished their 11th grade year from the City of Medicine Academy to Arusha to work in a clinic that the our Sister Cities group has helped with, and we're going to learn more about that. But we're also going to work with the 9th and 10th graders at the City of Medicine Academy, because part of their curriculum deals with water. So we will continue our water program with them and probably expand it more to things like waterborne illnesses and things like that. So we're real excited, and we're real excited. City of Medicine Academy is thrilled with the idea of doing some kind of program with us, with Sister Cities and with Arusha, Tanzania. So.
Last and definitely not least, we have Kevin Primus, again, the president of our Rotary E-Club of District 7710. I would like him to come up and share with you about the Rotary, and some of you may know and some of you may not know what is the Rotary doing in our community. But again, this collaboration came about because of their interest, and the second part, or the second component of our program, and that was to repair the pipes. And so through opportunity of having a grant, we're actually working on seeing that happen this late summer, early fall. So without further ado, I'll like to present Kevin Primus.
Hi, again, my name is Kevin Primus. I'm really excited about the collaboration, the opportunities for collaboration that Sister Cities allowed us to be a part of, and that Rotary, because of a long history in this town and a long history that Rotary and Sister Cities have had before our E-Club started, we were able to kind of respond to a real need, a real significant need. For me, until I saw the videos that came in, it was a really good project, and I've interacted with the kids and some of the adults. It was really important to me because as an educator, I've had students who've participated in fundraising for water projects, been involved. I have students who've gone into civil engineering. But to see the water leaking, I don't know if you could see it from where you were, but to see the water leaking from everywhere. You know, when I first saw the pictures and I saw the water in the ground, I said, what is that? You know, the water's leaking from under the ground. It's leaking from everywhere. So little water, and so much of it is continually leaking, right? So what an opportunity for us to collaborate. For us as an E-Club, we were brand new. We didn't have any members. I had BC Dash encouraging me every day and every week saying, you know, this is going to be great, this is going to be great, right? But we didn't, without Sister Cities, we didn't have members. We didn't have projects. We were just an idea, right? But this was an opportunity for us to collaborate. Without the downtown Durham and Southwest Durham and the Global Run for Water, we didn't have any money, right? But through collaboration, we were able to pull things together. The kids getting up and making this happen. The adults doing a lot of research and having to redo numbers and and how do we make this work for Rotary, who has this pretty strict funding structure, because they've learned over many, many years that you can't just throw money at a problem, right? You have to have mechanisms for accountability and ways to develop trust and relationships that go well beyond, we have a need, you have money, here, let's go. Right? So there's a partner with the Arusha Golden Sunrise Rotary Club, and we had to get to know them more deeply because they had to vouch for the the partners who are going to actually do the work, the civil engineers and the people who are going to repair the pipes, and what's this long-term sustainability for this project? It's not enough just to repair the pipes if we're going to have to just repair them again. So the component of students getting involved, communicating, learning about water. Whoa, how many civil engineers might come out of that school, St. Joseph's? You know, how might we be able to continue to encourage them and support them so that maybe one of those universities is able to collaborate with NC State or with Duke, or, you know, so that, hey, we're able to do this in other places. And this is a long-term vision that only comes from long-term collaborations, that comes from the deeply embedded nature of sister cities and Rotary in Durham, right? So we just kind of stumbled along. The Rotary Club just kind of stumbled into this. All the pieces were around. Rhonda and others have been very diligent, right, to keep pushing along, because it takes listening. Did you hear what Rhonda said? She just kind of slipped it in. She said she asked, you know, what do you need? Well, we need water. We wouldn't know if we don't ask. So we're hoping that out of this collaboration, a deeper relationship with our sister city can continue to develop. We're hoping that we can document this in such a way that we can have this flow with the funding schedule that Rotary has. Our next step beyond this is going to be a global grant, which we have to go outside of our district to raise money for. We have to go to other districts. We have to keep making relationships with other Rotary clubs and other groups in Durham so that we can raise $30,000, so that it's not just the repair of the pipes, but it's expansion so that they don't have to have it shipped in 3 days a week, right? We have to enable these kids, because these kids are leaders. You couldn't necessarily hear them speak, but to be able to articulate what is the problem is a very powerful thing. And to give them the hope that they can become a long-term solution, not just for their school, but for others, is a very powerful thing. So we're just privileged to be a part of what's already been going on in Durham and in this district, which is 10 counties that surround the Research Triangle Park. There's a global run for water that's happening, I believe, the weekend of September 27th, 28th. And they were able to fund us. Jeanne is our secretary. She's here, and she's very behind the scenes, but also willing to step up. And she kind of carried our Rotary Club through the last several months. And she and her sister, I believe, are going to be running in this global run for water to make sure that they know that we appreciate what they're doing. Because, hey, we might not have the idea, we might not have the need, we might not have the money, but if we can come together, we can do some really good and important things where they're really important needs. So again, there's some amazing resources that Sister Cities has brought to our E-Club. And if you looked at our roster, you might see, I don't know, 20, 30, 40% of our members are part of Sister Cities. And we're really excited about this, the future of this collaboration. You know, where will it go? You know, where will it go? It goes as far as we're able to continue to bring other people in. And think about 200 kids who had a need and they were just living with this water leak. And one day, very soon, the leak's going to stop. And then hopefully a year from now, they have enough water and they start to see that they can affect positive change in their own world, in their own community. And now we have 200 people, just right now, and they'll have more each year, that are going out saying, we don't have to just accept what we see. We can collaborate and we can reach across the world to make a difference in what we do. So we're just honored to be a part of what has been going on here. Downtown Durham Rotary, Southwest Durham Rotary, sister cities, being able to connect with all of the whole district, 10 different counties with this global run for water, and then Arusha Golden Sunrise. How important is it to have a partner on the ground that's already been building long-term relationships in the community, people who are well vetted and are responsible and accountable to their community. So we're so honored to be a part. We hope to grow with you and to help the rest of Durham to understand the great things that you've been doing for all this time. So thank you so much for letting us be a part. And again, thanks for letting us be here tonight.
So thank you, Kevin. So with that said, I mean, it's actually exciting. I thought as Margie was talking earlier about the clinic that, okay, we're going to take off the water and we're going to put on the clinic. And then lo and behold, CMA, City of Medicine Academy says, we want to do water. So I was like, okay, so what else can we do with water? I mean, there's so much more that we can do. But actually, within the past couple of weeks of reaching out, it turns out that more of the Durham water programs or departments, I should say, the soil and water department, the public works, waste that is coming out of the woodwork. I have 6 actual groups that want to work with us, and there's one in particular that wants to do a project where we do a community service program here, and then because we're going to Arusha, they want us to transfer it there and take it to those students and teach them how to do the same. So this is really becoming a major, for me, a buzz. Is like, what is going on? But it's really awesome and really, I guess, humbled to be able to share it with the community in this way through the library. Because I think, bringing more awareness to what's going on. It's not just St. Joseph's water problem, but we have water issues here too. And at this setting, I'm not able to share as much as I will at the next setting that we have about how the two are coming together. The issues here in the States that we experience with water is so similar. So it's a global issue, water all around the world, and it's affecting us here, as you all know. So the next step is to repair the water pipes, which again is going to happen between August-September timeframe. And then as Kevin talked about the conservation and sustainability aspects of this program, we're going to do more of that next year. And Dr. Adasi with the rainfall harvesting is going to present more opportunities to do that and set that up in St. Joseph. But again, we have people here that are going to talk about rainfall harvesting and how we can participate in that for ourselves. So waterborne illnesses is another area that we're going to dive into with the City of Medicine students. And, the City of Medicine students that are going to go to the clinic are also going to be able to present to the students at St. Joseph when they go visit. So it's really going to be interesting dynamic to see. They're going to go and visit the school and participate in the classroom, but then they're going to have another opportunity to actually be doing presentations to the students there. So a lot of, exchanging, and that's what we've been about. And so we're excited. So I just want to end letting you all know about our fundraising. Arusha Committee has a fundraiser coming up August 30th. Some of you received flyers. We have some on the table. And it's going to be at the Durham Central Park, basically from 4 to 9. 4 to 6, we're going to have a lot of opportunity for music and food and dancing. But we're mostly going to have 4 to 6, a lot of your City of Durham and Durham County water departments coming out to do presentations and demonstrations and have water games for you. So please save that date, and there'll be more information to come. But I want to open the floor for anyone who has questions, anything that we've said or anything you're curious about, any comments?
Thank you, John. What are the implications for mildew spores that I see all over the buildings?
Yeah.
And what is the architectural plan for that elimination?
So that's that's very good. So we started out when we did the tour of the campus looking at the architecture, and it was like crumbling at the bottom because of the way, it's stucco. So that wasn't, we didn't discuss that, the immediate need was water. But it's funny that you did ask about that, because there are some Rotary Club members that want to actually go out to the site. So when we do the repair this year, we won't have anyone there. But next year, there are people who are actually putting it on their calendars and are going to go out to actually be a part of the actual work that's going to be done. So that's going to be exciting. Rotary is, again, as Kevin said, deeper than just, okay, we fixed it, we give you some money and we're gone. They're actually building a relationship. And so with the Arusha Rotary, and I didn't mention a lot about them, but we had to have the teacher go to the Arusha Rotary and knock on the door and say, hi, we have a Rotary in Durham, North Carolina that wants to connect with you. And that's how that relationship happened. And it was actually really cool because they were excited and they want to be a part of what we're doing too. Thank you. Anybody else? Anyone curious or what? Let me ask, what did some of you come here for? What did you come to hear or learn, and did you get it? Okay, BC?
Well, I'm just delighted. I see several faces I recognize, and Rhonda has taken a leadership role in something that I think is truly, I think, very moving for me, because my focus, as I think Rotary's central focus, is global peace. And for me, particularly arriving here in this city of Durham 11, 12 years ago, Durham has become a central focus point and is growing in terms of relationships throughout the world. And Rotary is only one of the vehicles. So what is happening in this community, which your community is making possible through these connections and relationships, it's not that you're just going to solve a water problem in some place. You're actually building bridges to have peace all over the world, because you do not go to fight with friends, and you're building friendships. Thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, BC. So maybe one last comment, or someone who wants to share why they came out, what they were interested in hearing or learning. Anyone? Volunteer? Okay. Go ahead.
So the water pipes are they literally laying new pipes? Or I'm assuming you can't replace the old ones. So they're actually laying new
They're
pipes
laying
in
new
the schools.
pipes, right.
In the school from the water source.
Right. Underground.
Underground.
Yeah, underground. And as Kevin said, we just received those videos. So when I did my tour, I saw the water that was standing in the water in the ground. I didn't see the spigots of water. There was a couple we passed, and I saw water, again, just sitting there. But obviously, it's gotten worse over time. It's just decaying and just becoming a bigger problem. So this again, it couldn't come any better time.
And you think they'll start a garden?
Yeah, so the beautiful thing is when we met them in 2012, what I have to say is they were actually in the downtown portion of the Arusha city. And they had an actual garden, and that's how they fed themselves. That they ate what came out of their garden. The diocese at that time, the archdiocese, actually moved them, I think around 2013, to the outskirts of Arusha. And this is where you see them, and this is where the problem is. So in the moving, it was a bigger facility. They, because they were growing and they had too many students there in the city. So they put them out in the county or the suburb area, and I guess the facility just wasn't up to par. So yes.
Is the connection that they have to the city system, or is it to the spring that we saw in that photograph?
To the spring.
To the spring.
Yes.
Is
And
the spring somehow in their control? I mean, is it land that they own, the diocese owns or something that they can?
no.
Or is it just any old mountain goat or sheep or cow or buffalo can go wallow in?
No, you're right. It is owned, I guess, by the city, but it's not right now. It's not being managed, right?
Okay.
To their area, to their school specifically. So Dr. Adasi, one other thing that he is working on is talking with the Nelson Mandela University, because, and I'm still learning, right? There's a connection. The school is new that they're building, and the pipes are actually very close to St. Joseph. And what he wants to do is see them tie into that school. That's what he wants. And he's working on that on the side, through whatever political stuff that they have to get through. But that's what he would like to see happen for the school, is to tie into the university's line, and so that it'll be a better controlled situation.
Somebody else can manage the.
Exactly. That's a good question, though. Thank you.
I would think that perhaps one of the next most important steps, once the pipes are fixed, might be to focus on rainfall harvesting, because they do have a dry season there.
Exactly.
Will there be new cisterns or reservoirs to hold water?
Right, and that's what we're looking at putting as part of our project. The global grant that
Right.
Kevin mentioned. That's
Right.
what we're looking at putting together. We have to present a package to the Rotary, and part of that will be those type of things.
Okay. We do rainfall harvesting. There's a part of our yard that doesn't get the sprinkler system, but it has shrubs and things that in this summer need to be irrigated. So we got some kind of fancy looking barrel from somewhere, but it allows me to hook a hose up to it and then just water that area of the garden with the water that we collect. And I'm amazed at how rapidly it fills up, even just with these nighttime thunderstorms.
Well, please come out on August 30th, because we will have people there, again, from your public works and different departments that actually are going to talk about that and actually show you. Some talked about flower gardens. There's all types of things that I never even knew exist that they're going to bring and present, do demonstrations about. So please do come out to see that. One of our meetings with the students, we were at Margie's house, and she has the rain barrels and the irrigation. And so we actually took the iPad outside while we're doing the go-to meeting, and we're just showing, this is what it is. We're in the crowd. It was super cool, because they're like, ooh, because they some of the students had never seen that before. So this is the type of thing that we would like to present to them at their school. So some of the things that the Rotary E-Club had us do is find out pricing in Tanzania. We're not really shipping anything, right? They have to buy it there. So now I have them doing investigation on rain barrels. How can they get them? Where are they going to come from? How much does it cost? How long is it going to take? Some of the issues that we have is things like cost. So we started doing this grant process, 6 months ago? Costs is so, we have fluctuation here, but nothing like there. So what may have cost one price 6 months ago cost a whole different price now. So there's a lot of, things that we're hoping for in this process, because things change so rapidly. But that's a good point. We are going to definitely heavily focus on conservation and sustainability next year.
Rhonda, one thing I wanted to say too is, we've talked a lot about what we're doing here, and this is a relationship. This is a two-sided relationship, and we have tried Rhonda and I have tried really hard to make sure that the students in Arusha are contributing to, and so they make presentations to us about what's going on, and so we're trying to develop an equal relationship here, where we're just not the givers and they're the takers. So we have gotten lots of things from them too, So.
And the video, that was
Yeah.
it was snippets, I think 2 minute, like 6 or 8 of them that Kevin pieced all together so you could see it. But yeah, so they do things like that. And actually one of our goals for next year is to have them participate in the actual undertaking of these things, so that they're, you know, whatever aspect or capacity they can work in, that they will, you know, actually be participants in seeing this stuff happen around them. You know, here we pay for stuff and we know it's going to happen and we walk away. We want them to understand and appreciate the actual working with it. And what's exciting is that they're excited about it. Some of the students actually asked me, how do we get people to stop littering? And again, one of the departments that we're going to work with and that you'll see on August 30th came out and they told me, they said, we have a program coming up this year or next year, 2016, to stop littering. And so again, that'll be one of the collaborative opportunities that we'll do, because, you know, they said we have those little buckets, so they use it for water, but then they'll also use them to collect trash. But sometimes they disappear because, you know, they don't have permanent containers for things so that they can, you know, use them. So those are the kind of things that we'll learn and talk about. I wanted to mention that we do have our president of the the Sister Cities Youth Council here. And if you'd like to stand up and say a few words.
Hi, yeah, I'm Alex Bird. I'm the president of the Youth Council for the Sister Cities of Durham, and yeah, I'm just glad to be here and see how the water project is progressing, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, thank you. We're looking for great things to come from Alex next year. We'll see what new things Sister City Youth Council will be participating in as well. Yes.
Rhonda, in terms of the grant that you're writing, have you considered approaching the Gates, because they have a malaria project that may feed into one of the contagious disease issues that's part of the water project?
What I would like to do, we're going to go with this global grant because it was actually, we were putting it together and then we kind of said, let's do a short term and then we'll go back and do the long term. Go back with some of the Rotary and actually assess what are the greater needs and get things listed out and do an assessment. Yeah, because as you said, the mold spores, and I mean, there's so many things, right? Just looking at those pictures, I need to do an assessment, and I feel like us on the ground, we can do that better, but we wouldn't have a problem reaching out to the Gates Foundation. It's just... The initiative already exists. Right, exactly. Believe it or not, it's a lot of work, and it's almost like I would have to put this aside and focus on that. So I think an assessment would then better help us understand where we're going. Yeah, but no, that's a good point. Thank you. Hey, did you have a question? Anybody else? Okay, well, I thank you all for your time, and we kind of ended up a little bit short, early, but I do have some tea. It's a Marsala tea from Tanzania. It's the ingredients are from Tanzania. And you guys are welcome to have it. It's hot. Someone asked me about the tea and they thought it was iced tea, you know, Bojangles is like, no, this is hot tea. There's a milk tea in the white container, and they both are sweetened, but with like raw sugar. And then the silver container has just the tea without the milk. Okay. Thank you for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you.